This is all very exciting. There is a reason why we're in a multi-story car park today, not just because I wanted to show you the local graffiti, and also I have to be fair to this car park. It scores a 5 out of 10 on the smells like wee scale, so it's not too bad. Just got to cover that up for the benefit of anyone of a sensitive nature. Sorry. That's why we're here. Well, two reasons why we're here. One is the Proton. Second reason is it's windier than a Heinz baked bean tester out there today. You wouldn't know it, but every so often you get a massive gust and it will sound awful, or worse than normal on my video. So to protect your ears, we're in the safe confines of a Get Carter car park. And for the benefit of transparency, I haven't paid. So if anyone from the local council is watching, I do apologise. And as normal, for fire and safety, the emergency exit is over there. I'm not going to pretend it's impromptu, but I am out taking photographs of the car because I freshly cleaned it yesterday, because it is for sale. Anyone who has seen petrolblog.com recently will know this car is for sale. And it's not often I sell a car. I'm selling it because it's time to move it on. I think I've done everything I wanted to do with it, which is obviously admire the light bar in a very rare, non-illuminated. Doesn't that look great with the architecture on the bonnet? And that's quite a good effect. If it wasn't for that pesky light, that could look very cool. But no, I'm out taking photographs to update the advert, which has been out for a couple of weeks now, I think, maybe 10 days, couple of weeks. Had a few inquiries, a few time wasters, as is normal. Nothing concrete. But what I've done on the back of a badly opened envelope, which could be a really good tribute act for a badly drawn boy, wouldn't it? Badly opened envelope. I've written 7 reasons why you should buy this car, and 7 reasons why you probably shouldn't. And if you hear some rustling in the hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just the envelope. Okay, reason number 1 is the most obvious one, and it's the light bar of delight. It is, well, I'm going to put it out there, I reckon it's unique in Europe, probably unique outside of Malaysia. It was made in Taiwan actually, thank you for the comment, way back when, but available, and it wasn't even a Proton accessory, it was available at motor factors. Quite cheap and nasty in many ways in terms of its production, but in terms of what it adds to the Proton, it's huge. It's probably the biggest talking point of this car when you go to a car show. Only yesterday, actually, or Friday, I was filling up with fuel and the lady smiled at it. I hope it was a smile and not a grimace or a mocking laughter, but it is brilliant. So eat your heart out, all these modern electric cars with their light bars, because the Proton does it better. It's like Malaysian Knight Rider. It's what Malaysian Michael Knight would have driven. I mean, he'd never catch anybody, but he would look good getting off the line. So that's the item number 1. Item number 2, air conditioned. This is a very rare, because even on the SE model, top of the range SE, air condition was an option. And this one has it, as you can tell from the back. And it works. It's very sort of primitive by today's standards. You don't get his and hers, or his and his, or her and hers settings on one side or the other. And it's basically just a button on and a button off, and then you sort of work out the heater setting you want, or the blower setting with it. So you got, I think it's 4 settings. Yeah, and then you kind of where you want the heat directed. And I will turn it on later when we go through other things. But it does work. Which is a real boon. Remember Boone? Didn't you ride a motorbike? Was it Michael Elphick? Anyway, that's a real boon on a hot day. Boon's a great word. I need to use boon more often. Boon. Third on my list is the interior, which gives me an excuse to go and turn the light bar off and brave the buzzer of doom, or the bagpipes of misery. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's the keys. It's not the light. There you go. The interior is in remarkable condition. When you consider the mileage, which is just clocked over 96,000 miles, the Braemar velour is in almost mint. I'm not going to say mint because someone will come along and find some issues with it, but I would say it's almost immaculate. And as we know, as Vanessa Carlton will testify, velour is superior to leather in every sense. That's a service history, which we'll come on to later if you want to. But the interior is beautiful. I mean, look at the door cards. The door cards are amazing. It's all in beautiful condition. It feels lovely to touch. You've got carpet down here. And it's got all the original carpet mats. Legroom isn't great. That's in its furthest position, but legroom isn't great. It's got all the original carpet mats. And even got one in the middle, a kind of supplementary one which sits underneath the other mats to finish it off. And I'm going to say it actually feels quite luxurious in here. I mean, everything in context, obviously, but for a budget car from 1993, which was based on a previous generation Proton, which was based on a old Mitsubishi, it doesn't seem very down market. It is when you start to do that arm there, actually, that's actually quite nice, but you start to do the car buyer test, which no one ever does anyway, little things start to feel a little bit flimsy. I'm going to get that back in. But the main thing, it's in lovely condition. You wouldn't know it had done 96,000 miles. And that goes back to what I've always said, that Japanese, Korean, Malaysian interiors, they may not look great. They may not have that perceived quality when they're new, but they're built to last. And this is a good case in point. It's just in excellent condition. You can pick holes. There's a little tear. There's tears down there on the seats, which will need to be sorted out. The bolster's obviously seen a lot of use, which is fair, but the other ones are fine. And it's an old cliche again, isn't it? But you kind of think the back seats have never been sat in. They obviously have, but they don't look like they have. And this makes me laugh. There's a little bit of fuzziness above here, which obviously for tall people rubbing their head on the headlining. I'm going to switch off so I can show you what's next. Feature number 4 is the heck blender along the back, which makes this car exceedingly cool. Sort of underlining the air conditioning, so it kind of matches really well with the light bar. Oh yeah, the next thing, eagle-eyed viewers, stroke Proton enthusiasts will know that these aren't the SE wheels. These are the wheels from a lower spec, GL I believe. But you've got customizable wheels because you could have no hubcaps for the black Steelies look, and it looks fabulous on black Steelies. You could have the SE alloys. Sorry, they're meant to look like alloys. They don't. They're meant to mimic 3-spoke alloys, but they don't. But they have a tendency to fly off. So my advice would be these aerodynamic, efficient, flat trims, and I think they suit it really well actually. So I would personally run around on these when you're not on black Steelies. The next one, it's got a fresh MOT. Well, I say fresh MOT. It's got a clean MOT. Just at end of December, mid-December I think it was actually. So you've got another 10 months, just under 10 months MOT. No advisories because everything that came up, because it failed originally on, I got the MOT certificate in there, but it failed on brakes, suspension and headlight alignment. Everything was done, and even the brake pads, they were just an advisory. And it may not have even been that, they may just be, I'll have to check, but I did them anyway. So this car is good to go. Good to go. Next on the list with the rustling. Oh yeah, storage. It's got plenty of storage. So you can put your bottle of antibacterial gel in there, and also your bottle of peacock green touch-up paint, which I must come back to actually. This paint colour is very rare. It's called peacock green. I mean, it's effectively black. It's very rare to see it in green. Certain lights, you can just about see it's green there, but it's the ideal green if you want basically black, but don't want to buy a black car, because it's as good as black. Everybody sees it, says, oh, nice black Proton. Well, I'm afraid you're wrong. but it's a fabulous colour. Big fan of the colour. I was going back to storage. Plenty of places for your odds and ends. This is perfect for a bottle of Tropicana. The smallest bottle of Tropicana will sit on there beautifully. You've got another little storage cubby there. Obviously, don't drive with the Tropicana there because it will fly off. You've got another storage area there, which is basically an ashtray. I never actually checked, or I may have checked, but has the cigarette lighter been used? Don't think it has. Nope, hasn't been used. You've got a big glove box, which is big enough to swing a cat in. There you go, swung a cat in there, and put an old Club Petrol Block sticker in there. But that's a generous glove box. You've got another little storage shelf under there, which is perfect for your Ordnance Survey maps. You've got another storage area here for your cassettes. I mean, how brilliant is that? You can put coins down there next to the electric mirrors, because it's got electric mirrors. Again, quite rare on a Proton, at this age anyway. You've got another ashtray there, which pops up in a beautifully swift manner. I can't do it again now, there you go. I'm trying to think what else you've got. Oh, another storage area there, which is perfect for your RAC Members Handbook from 1993. Other breakdown recovery services are available, but haven't paid me. Actually, RAC haven't paid me, what am I saying? So yeah, storage is good. And then you've got a generous size boot. I say being Japanese, but certainly being a Japanese car of this era, you have to open the boot from inside, which can be annoying, or you can do it on the key, which is always a risk. You're going to scratch it if you do that. You don't want to do that. It's a very heavy boot, by the way. So someone's put a little washing line here for your cloth. You've got a couple of Blaupunkt speakers up there. By the way, the Blaupunkt, I'll come back to that in a minute. Oh, by the way, look, that storage area in the back of the seats, perfect for your Proton manual. And under here, I discovered this yesterday. I just put the badly drawn boy envelope there a minute. Under here, I believe that's the original Dunlop spare wheel. Well, it says OE on it, so I'm assuming that means original equipment. Again, please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I normally am. And just put the washing line back together again. And a little parcel shelf for what it's worth there, which is actually quite a little neat touch. Finish it off well. I don't know if it will do it this time. Oh, it won't. A little nice touch which you only get on Protons of this era. When you shut the boot, the sunroof jumps open. It didn't that time because it's open already, but it sort of raises out above. And we'll come back to the sunroof in a minute. But just this is really, really random, this video, isn't it? Anyway, Blaupunkt stereo. It's a Sydney, and I think they called it Sydney because it sounds like the radio stations are coming from the other side of the world. And the tape player doesn't work. My good friend Mike said he could fix it for me, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. And it's got a manual aerial, which would look great with a little Malaysian flag on the end. Okay, moving on to the list of reasons to avoid this car like the plague, and going by something less interesting. The infotainment system is very basic by today's standards. You know, it's not a 10-inch, not a 7-inch. I don't think it's even made... Oh! Do you know what? I'm going to skip to that one straight away. That's the last thing on my list of reasons to avoid it. It's the key buzzer, which also it works on the lights as well. Yeah, honestly, it's one of the most annoying things you'll ever come across, apart from this channel, obviously. Let me shut the door. Good afternoon. So that is the infotainment system. So as you're going along, or stuck in traffic, or your passenger's stuck in traffic, they can change the time, and that's it. It's not touchscreen. Sorry kids, that's it. There's your infotainment system. It's basically the size of a Casio watch from the 1980s. So yeah, don't come to this car thinking you're going to get a massive, great infotainment system, because you're not. Sunroof. Oh, there's the noise. Hate that noise. Really not going to miss that noise. That's assuming someone does buy this. So at the moment I've had a few inquiries, but no concrete offers. Sunroof, not a option. Not available. I don't think these were available in Malaysia. So they were fitted at the PDI centre in Britain on arrival. Avonmouth, I think, at the time. Again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So great when it was new. Nice option to have on top of the SE spec. As you can imagine, after, how many years is it now? God, it's 30 years. Geez, 30 years now, it does leak. In fairness, it only leaks in really severe, heavy rain. You know, you can go out in a shower, you can go out, if it's going to get wet briefly, it won't leak. It's if it's sat and the rain sort of, or the water is just sat around it, I'd imagine, it starts to leak. I've got some Captain Tolly creeping crack cure, which I'm amazed I said first time without stumbling. I can't do it again. I've got some Captain Tolly creeping crack cure, which I'll happily include with the sale, if you want to try, see if that works. If not, you can get it professionally refitted. But ideally, I suppose you want to keep it under a carport or in a garage if you live, like I do, in a temperate rainforest. Just consulting my badly opened envelope. Is it envelope or envelope? Let me know in the comments below if you care. Oh, by the way, yep, next link on the list. There isn't a Euro NCAP rating for this. Really sorry, kids. So you have to take your life into your own hands when you drive this car. And you know, when your knees, if you're over the size of Ronnie Corbett, ask your parents if you don't know who that is. Your knees are touching the steering wheel, which I suppose is linked to another reason you might want to avoid this. I don't find it uncomfortable, but I wouldn't want to drive it every day because your knees are just about touching the single spoke. By the way, glorious single spoke steering wheel. I mean, it is magnificent, isn't it? I mean, look at the view you've got of the dashboard, which you can't because my phone is deciding to do weird focusing again. But yeah, there is no Euro NCAP rating, so you're on your own out there, kids. By the way, the next thing on my list is it's not autonomous. You can't, it won't drive itself to work. You haven't got adaptive cruise control. You haven't got cruise control at all. So you're on your own. You have to do all the driving yourself. Sorry about that. It's really focusing on the satellite control there, isn't it? Really focusing on it like a Sean Lloyd focus. Ooh. No cup holders. Again, that's another thing that I need to point out. That is, as I called it in a previous video, that is a Tropicana shelf. You can fit a nice bottle of Tropicana in there, as long as you don't go around corners. It will sit on there beautifully. Anything other than that, forget it. Do not put hot drinks on here and expect it to stay upright. So no cup holders. In this day, I think you have to point that out, don't you? 30 years ago it wasn't an issue. Now it is. And the other thing, I don't know if I mentioned it when I was pointing out the air conditioning, but the air conditioning, when it's on, it does drain power. Well, that was annoying. Just trying to finish off the video, and then a man in a Kia decided to come and park right next to me. And you can see from the previous footage that there was plenty of spaces, but yes, he had to park next to me. So I apologise now for the wind noise. I'm just going to round off and say this is the Proton. It's for sale on Car and Classic for $13,950, which is significantly cheaper than a £600,000 Sierra Cosworth, which doesn't even have a light bar of happiness. So you know what to do. Do the right thing. Give me a shout. Let me know if you're interested, and you could be driving this amazing vehicle. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Oh, bonus footage. Look what I've just discovered through behind these bars. Look at that. Next generation Proton stuff. Wow, I'll zoom in. Proton Satria 52 plate. Ready for a GTI conversion. Maybe not. Thank you for watching.